Sarah stood still in front of the door, her heart pounding, her hands shaking as she gripped the handle. The moment she had been waiting for had finally arrived, but the weight of her emotions completely overwhelmed her. She would never have imagined she would find herself there, in that mysterious room in front of him. Before starting with this story, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next publications. Enjoy! Sarah had always been a strong woman, but she too had carried the weight of the battles that life had inflicted on her. A nurse for many years, she had always faced life with a sense of responsibility and dedication, especially towards her patients. She had chosen her profession not only out of vocation, but also out of a need to find a sense of purpose after a painful separation from her husband William, a man she once loved deeply. But that marriage, which once seemed like a fairy tale, had turned into a nightmare of misunderstandings, selfishness, and power struggles. After the separation, William had used every means at his disposal to distance her from Ethan, their only son. He had managed to gain custody of the boy, taking advantage of his status as a wealthy and influential man. Sarah, devastated, had taken refuge in her work, trying to ease the pain by caring for children at the hospital, the same facility where, ironically, her son now was. A year had passed since the day she lost custody, a year during which she had not seen Ethan again, and the thought that he could be so close to her behind that door was both a relief and a torture. It was a cruel fate that brought her back to him. Sarah had enthusiastically accepted the job at that hospital, unaware that among the patients admitted there was none other than Ethan, the victim of a complication following an appendicitis operation. His colleagues spoke of him as a mystery. The boy in the room down the hall, deep in sleep for months, with no visitors, no signs of recovery. No one was allowed in except a select few, handpicked by his father, William. Sarah had discovered the truth almost by accident. One day, talking to a colleague, Sophie, she had asked for information about that very secret room. Sophie's answer was like a blow to the stomach. The boy, Ethan, was her son. The feeling of emptiness that hit her was devastating. Not only had she not seen him in a year, but now she knew he was there, next to her, and that he was lying in a hospital bed without her being able to be with him. Day after day, Sarah tried to get closer to Ethan's room, hoping to take care of him at least for a moment. The opportunity came when, during a particularly chaotic day, she was asked to fill in for a nurse who usually took care of that room. Sarah's heart began to beat faster as she picked up the boy's medical chart. She knew it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and despite the risk, she couldn't pass it up. As she reached the door, she felt paralyzed with fear and emotion. She wasn't ready to see Ethan like that, but she knew she had no choice. She had to do it. She opened the door with a slow, almost hesitant movement, and when her eyes rested on him, the world around her stopped. Ethan's face was pale still, but Sarah recognized him immediately. Tears filled her eyes, and before she knew it, she was walking over to the bed and stroking it. "I'm here, my love," she whispered, her voice breaking with emotion. "You're not alone anymore." She couldn't reveal her identity to anyone, but every day that passed, she found a way to be close to Ethan. She caressed him, talked to him, told him stories like she did when he was little. She had learned to be discreet, not to be noticed, and no one suspected the truth. Until the day everything changed. That day began like many others, with Sarah entering the hospital, ready for her shift. But the air seemed different, full of tension. There was an unusual agitation among the doctors and nurses, as if something important had just happened. Sarah approached the group, eager to know what was happening. "What happened?" she asked, her heart pounding. One of the co-workers turned to her, his face lit up with a smile. "The boy woke up," he said. "Ethan woke up." Leave a like if the story is touching your heart, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your support. Sarah couldn't hold back her tears. She ran to the room, her heart pounding, and when she opened the door, she saw Ethan, awake, sitting on the bed. But he wasn't alone. William was there beside her. Her ex-husband looked at her with an expression that wavered between surprise and anger, but Sarah didn't care. Ethan was looking for her. "Where's my mommy?" he asked, his voice full of hope. "She comes to see me every day, I know. Where is she?" Sarah knew she could no longer hide the truth. With a firm step, she stepped forward. "I'm here, my love," she said. And in an instant, Ethan recognized her. "Mom!" she cried and threw herself into his arms. Their emotions were uncontainable, their embrace full of all the love and suffering accumulated in those long months of separation. William stormed out of the room, unable to accept what he was seeing. Sarah knew the legal battle wasn't over, but at that moment, nothing mattered. Ethan was with her, and that was all that mattered. In the days that followed, Sarah faced new challenges. William did everything he could to keep her away from Ethan, but this time, she wasn't alone. The mothers of Sarah's patients rallied behind her, testifying in court on her behalf. They described how she was a loving, devoted, and caring woman who would do anything for her son's sake. In the end, the court ruled in her favor. Ethan would stay with her, and Sarah knew she had won the most important battle of her life.